Hello and welcome to all my Flosstube neighbors. I'm Chris and this is Xrossstitch, and today is Tuesday, February 15th, 2022, and this is Flosstube number 39. I am so glad that you are here with me today. This was almost the Flosstube video that wasn't, and I'll explain that in a minute, but thank you for joining me today. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule to spend time with me. If you are a new viewer, a new subscriber, welcome to the channel. I hope that you enjoy what you see here. This is a channel primarily about cross-stitching, but we have a lot more fun here at Xrossstitch than just the stitching. We talk about all sorts of things, and I hope you enjoy it. I hope that you like the video. I hope you subscribe if you haven't already. I hope you ring that little bell down there that tells you when I post videos. And if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. Thank you for being a part of this neighborhood. Thank you for being my friend. Thank you for being a friend. I love the Golden Girls. If you're new here, you'll understand that they're kind of like a thing. But thank you for being a part of the neighborhood. Thank you for all your wonderful comments and your wonderful support that you provide me throughout the week and throughout this channel since the inception of the channel. I want to say a few things, first of all, right off the top. You may have noticed, if you have commented on a video, that I have hearted it or written you back. I try to make a point of responding to every single person, and I like to write you. I like to say at least thank you. And I got backlogged over the past few weeks, and I just wasn't able to do that. So you may notice this morning I woke up very early and I laid there in bed and I thought to myself, before I even set foot on the floor, I'm going to at least let these people know that I've read their comments and that I see them and hear them. And I wanted to just verbally let you know that of how much they mean to me. If for some reason, and I'll very quickly, there is a way on the back end of YouTube that those of us who have channels are able to see your comments that we've responded to or not. We can filter them by have I responded to you or not. And I always use that because if I've said something to you, it won't populate that feed, and I can go through it in a very organized manner. We also have a thing that's called held for review, and I forget about that sometimes. And comments that are suspicious looking will go into the held for review tab. Now, there's always a handful in there. There are always a handful of comments in there, and I don't know why they're held for review, because they're not spam at all. They're your comments. And I went in today and we have to approve them. We have to approve them for public consumption, if you will. And I went in and I approved a handful of them, and I thought that later I would be able to go back and heart them or say something on those few, and they were scattered to the four winds. And so they went back into the rotations on the videos, and there was no way that I was going to be able to remember which video and who that was. So if you haven't been hearted or responded to, please know that I have read them. There are only a few that are like that, but some of them were very sweet comments, and I wanted to just let you know. I think you understand how much this interaction is part of this channel and as part of one of the reasons that I love doing it so much is getting to know all of you on a more personal level. I say many times, I really do, it's almost as if I see you on the other side of the phone on which I'm recording. So just know that. That's just a little blurb at the beginning of the video, and I'm going to try to be better about responding in a more timely manner so that I don't get backlogged. Other people have said, oh, we appreciate it just a heart, or we appreciated it. And I know you do, and I appreciate knowing that, because in times like this, when I get backed up, I will fall back to that method. But as long as I can, And as long as my fingers will allow me to, I want to say thank you for watching the channel. So just a little bit about that and enough, and let's move on. Each week here at Xrossstitch, we start by naming Handstanding Cat. Handstanding Cat is the top of Tiki, Tree of 1,000 Faces, piece of teak driftwood that's right there in the corner, in which you see a lot of different images, and a friend of mine saw a handstanding cat at the top of it. I can see a handstanding cat. A lot of you see Scooby-Doo, some of you see the donkey from Shrek, but we name it each week because you provided me with a lot of wonderful names. And this week, handstanding cat is named, okay, this is a twofer. 2 of my viewers suggested this name, and they are Trisha Knits and Chris R. Those 2 neighbors named Handstanding Cat this week, and this week Handstanding Cat is named Flossie. I love that one, Flossie. That's a great name for a pseudo mascot of a Flosstube channel, Flossie. So thank you, Trisha Knits, and thank you, Chris R, for naming Handstanding Cat Flossie this week. Well, the hashtag Chris It Up momentum keeps building, and I love it so much. I have had a week during which I have had to remind myself to Chris It Up many times. And your comments, both here and on Instagram, have definitely helped me to Chris It Up. Chris It Up being a way by which you just remind yourself in a moment of despair or depression or frustration or tedium to think of something that brings you joy. Think of something that brings you happiness, or do something that will bring you joy or happiness. Or even looking on the bright side, or trying to find the humor in a situation. All those things are Chrising It Up. My dear viewer and frequent commenter, and again, a person, I feel as if I know you. My dear viewer, Joanne P, has this up on her desk at work, at her office. I think that is amazing. And of course, all the kudos really go to Darcy Cameron, my friend and fellow Flosstuber Darcy Cameron, Stitchman Darcy, for creating this, and to all of you for picking it up and embracing it and keeping it going. And let me tell you something, it helps me just as much as you are giving me the feedback that it's helping you. I make no bones about the fact that I suffer from depression and anxiety, and it's a difficult thing to deal with. I'm very fortunate in that I am able to handle it. I have had, I've gone to therapy and I have the tools to handle it, and I feel as if I'm in a better place with those challenges than I was 20 years ago, 30 years ago. But that doesn't mean that they're eradicated. And I know that many of you suffer with ups and downs. Some of you suffer with depression and anxiety as well. And it's so important for those of us who know what that's like to remind each other that we can get through it, that we know how to get through it. And even though it feels sometimes like we're at the bottom of a pit and climbing out is just the last thing that we want to do, it's always good when you have a handhold from someone who knows what you're going through. So remind yourself to Chris It Up. And when you hear me say it, know that it is something that I do not emulate 24/7. It's something that I remind myself to do in those well moments, in those pit moments when you feel like you're at the bottom of a well. And from that well moment, you have a well moment. That's so corny, but it's true. Go from one well to another. Anyway, enough preachy. Thank you, Joanne, for that sign. Thank you, Darcy, and thank you all for Chrising It Up. I think it's fantastic. On to the cross stitching. I had, as I mentioned, I had a week of ups and downs. So I didn't get to stitch as much as I wanted to. And I'm always saying that. I guess what I should start saying is, this is what I stitched this week. And this is how much time this week afforded me to stitch. That's a better way to say it. That's a more crisp up way to say it. So this is what I stitched on this week. I am continuing the wonderful Modern Folk Embroidery 2021 stitch along, but we're doing it in 2022 under the hashtag STILLFRESHFRUITSAL. Of course, it is the Modern Folk Embroidery Fruits of Plenty. And I am sponsoring this stitch along with my dear friend Kathy at the Flosstube channel to Dye House. And I'm still enamored with it. A lot of lines, stitching a lot of lines in this month. But it's going to come together beautifully. I have no worries about the fact that I'm going to finish this month. I know it's the 15th of the month and February is a short month, but I'm going to finish it. This is my priority project, and just loving these colors. So many of you are so complimentary of them, and I thank you for that. This, of course, was inspired by the Delft pottery of the Netherlands, and I just love it. I'm so excited. And what's interesting is I'm thinking about how I'm going to use the pure floss colors. For the lighter color, for the predominant lighter color in this project, I'm mixing two flosses, a very, very light cornflower blue and a variegated DMC that is called Delft Blues, actually. Those two together minimizes the contrast and variegation. It minimizes the effect of the variegation, but in certain places, I'm using those pure. I'll use the cornflower blue alone or the variegation alone. And I think I figured out how I'm going to do it in this particular month, and I'm very excited about it. So I can't wait to get it finished to show you that. So yeah, just loving every stitch of it, and we'll continue to work on it. But you've seen my progress. Right, I just feel like I'm in geometry class right now because all I'm stitching are lines, but that's okay. I'm going to do all that first and then go back and fill in. But Modern Folk Embroideries, Fruits of Plenty. Again, we're using the hashtag STILLFRESHFRUITSAL, and if you are working on this or want to start it. Start it with us, and use that hashtag, and we'll encourage each other to move on with it. And here's a bit of news. I have long said that I was going to do the 2022 Modern Folk Embroidery Stitch Along. I showed you the vintage country mocha fabric that I picked out for it. I showed you the beautiful overdyes that were evocative of my family's Scottish tartan. And I have decided I'm not going to do it. Yep, not going to do it. And I'll tell you why. Sometimes we make plans and we get into the thick of things and we realize that it's just not going to work out. I just don't have the time to do it. And my lovely and dear Sarah at the Flosstube channel, Sew Me Sarah, in her latest video, made a beautiful point that I have said before, and she said it it was like I needed to hear it. If what you're working, if your hobby, if your stress-reducing hobby brings you stress, something is wrong. Pare back, scale back. It's not worth it. We get caught up in wanting to do all the things, and it's a great thing to be involved with because it's so positive and productive and supportive, and you see these people working on it, and oh my gosh, it's so beautiful, and you see this chart, and it's everything Jacob does is stunning, and many designers, it's the same way, and you want to do everything, and you can't. You just can't. So when you start worrying about, oh gosh, I haven't started that yet, and when am I going to stitch on it, and I'm not going to finish this, I'm going to go, woo, full stop, full stop. Totally counterproductive. There's enough to worry about in the world. So I'm going to drop that off of my things that I'm going to do. I love the chart. 90% of the reason that I have decided not to do it is because of the time factor. And there's a 10% reason that I kind of want to find a sampler or something that was done in Scotland. I kind of want to have a piece of a project that originated in Scotland. That's only 10% of it. The other 90% is the time crunch, and I'll probably stitch that one day because it's an incredible chart. And as it unfolds, it just gets more beautiful. But I'm not going to be doing that right now, and I just wanted to let you know it. And I wanted to share the reasons why, because I think we need to hear it sometimes, you know. We can't do everything. If we had 4 arms, maybe we could. Wouldn't that be great? You could have 2 arms working on one piece and 2 arms working on the other. Or 2 arms working on a piece and then 1 for snacks and your beverage. Crazy. Mad as a hatter. But that's my story of the 2 Modern Folk Embroidery stitch-alongs. I also worked on my Heaven and Earth Designs mini Train of Dreams. This is artwork by Randall Spangler. It is another stitch along that I'm doing, hashtag Train of Dreams Sal. Many of you are doing this in the different iterations of the chart. There's a mini, there's a full size, there's a max size, there's all sorts of things. This was a gift given to me by my dear neighbor, Michaela in Germany, and she's doing amazing. She's just flying. She sends me a photograph every time she completes a color, and man, she's doing a great job. I go to this when I want a break. There's something about stitching on a HAID or a full coverage piece that your brain takes a left turn and you just think about stitching in a different way. And in a strange way, it's relaxing. So when I'm working on one thing and I get tired of counting or whatever, can't really explain it. I'll go to the Train of Dreams. Now I haven't got much on it, and it is a little bit intense because I'm in a section where there's a lot of confetti and jumping around, but for some reason I go to that to kind of relax from some other pieces. But you're seeing my progress. I'm going to work on this today. I want to work on it later today. But I'm really enjoying it. I will say that the next HAID I do, I don't want it to be a mini because I do think that there's going to be, well, I'm gonna reserve that comment for later. I'm thinking, of course, you're going to see much more detail in a larger HAID so that you see more of it. But this size is so manageable, and it's going to be such a fulfilling thing to finish it this year, because I do think I will be able to finish it this year. I'm literally only 2 squares from the bottom of it, and then it starts moving over. So I'm going to love it. It's going to be a wonderful little cameo type piece. But the next HAID I do will probably be bigger. But Train of Dreams, Heaven and Earth Design, artwork by Randall Spangler. As you know, this year I am doing Whip Go, and 2 numbers were called for February. One of my projects under those numbers, and I couldn't tell you what they are now to save my life. You know, couldn't do it. Anyway, so we won't worry about that. But one of the 2 is another modern folk embroidery piece. This is the piece that I began on my birthday last year, when I turned the great half-century mark. This is Modern Folk Embroideries Zeeland sampler. It's actually MBE 1864, a Zeeland sampler. I just call it the Zeeland sampler. It's a smaller sampler. I'm doing this in the blues colorway. I didn't work on it much. I'm slated to do 7 days on it. I've only done 1, but I wanted to touch it and get as much done. And I got a lot done on that one day. I filled in all of the flowers. I substituted, I'm doing this on a beautiful piece of cream colored Edinburgh linen. And this colorway, the top central flower is charted in white, a shade of white, off-white. But there would not be enough contrast to the fabric. I'm using it in other places. You'll see where that shade of white is framed by more vivid colors. For that flower that's kind of exposed, it just wouldn't work. So I pulled another of the medium blues from the color palette, and I did that top central flower in that blue, and I really love it. It's close to the stem, but it's not. It's a shade lighter, and it's in the same, like I said, it's in the same color family, or the same color palette that he used. So I didn't diverge from it. I actually think it looks really, really good. So I'm happy with my progress on that. I love stitching this chart, and I'm gonna of course do all 7 days. I may not finish both of my other Whipco project is the 100 Owls by Owl Forest Embroidery, and I'm not going to say I'm not going to get it done, but you know, Whipco, you just start it during the month it's called. You do not have to finish it during the month it's called. So I'm not, again, low stress. Let your hobby be your joy, not your stressor. Let your hobby be your joy. That's a good one. So yeah, there's my MBE 1864, a Zeeland sampler. I probably said that wrong, but look at what I put down below me, and that's what it is. I'm going to check that right now. See, I knew that something was wonky. It's MFE 1864, Zeeland sampler. Anyway, so those are the 3 pieces that I worked on this week. I say I didn't get much stitching in, but if you think about it, I touched 3 pieces and I got, you know, a goodly amount on all of them. So too hard on myself. And I wanted to share one quick little thing with you. I have started something. I'm not going to show you till it's finished though. My dear neighbor and viewer, Aya R. Aya is a very accomplished artist. If you might recall that she created a chart, a beautiful single daffodil chart when I told my story about Miss Mary Will last year. And that chart is going to make a reappearance because next month we are going to start the Mary Will Daffodil Sal, but I'll tell you more about that next month. And that chart is going to be involved in it. But Aya, after she heard the story of Granny Dip and Snuff, again, she went to her computer and she charted me the most adorable little chart. And that's all I'm going to say to you because I'm not going to show you until it's finished. But it's a wonderful one. And I cannot thank Aya enough to have someone so talented spend the time. And quite frankly, all of you who have charted things based on things from this channel, to take the time to do that make these amazing things manifest so that I can stitch them up or you can stitch them up and have them in your lives. It's just wonderful. So thank you, Aya, so very much for doing that. I cannot wait to show people this little granny chart that you did for me, and I certainly can't wait until next month when we begin Mary Will's Daffodil Sal, because that's a beautiful chart too, and I want it to be out there. So thank you, Aya. Thank you, everyone, and more to come on that very, very soon. It's time for Chris's Toy Chest, and as usual, I have my dear friend Sal here to help me out. Sal, how you doing? Good. It's good to see you. People haven't seen you in a while. I know we've had so many wonderful submissions for the Neighbor's Corner, and I've been telling a few more stories, but we're going to go back to the toys today because I love doing this segment, and so many of you enjoy doing the segment. It's a trip down memory lane, and it's no surprise that so many of my toys from my early childhood were Fisher-Price toys. And, you know, I was thinking about this particular toy. or these particular toys. And once again, they're Fisher-Price toys. Later on in the toy chest segment, I'm going to move to some, as I aged, as I went from being a little boy to just a child, a toddler to a you know, more of a rambunctious boy. The Star Wars toys came in and the Evel Knievel toys came in, but for a long time, it was just the Fisher-Price things. And one of my dear neighbors and friends, Mary Ann, sent me this photograph of a toy that she remembers very fondly and that she still has. This was the Fisher-Price record player. Now, I didn't have that. I didn't have that record player, but that reminded me of a toy that I did have. And this is, now different companies made this. I'm pretty sure that Fisher-Price was the company that made this particular one, but I know Mattel made others like it. And it's the Fisher-Price See and Say toy, the farmer says. This was one of those string pull toys, like the dolls. You would pull a string and it would, the arrow would spin in the center. It would land on a animal, and then it would say, the farmer says cow, and then you'd hear mrrr, right? Don't judge. Anyway, it would make, and I learned an interesting bit of trivia about this. In the 70s and before, these toys used the same technology that Thomas Edison used for the gramophone. It wasn't digital. These toys are still made, but once it hit like probably the late 80s, early 90s, it went to a digital, you know, speaker and chip and something in there. I don't know how it works. But the ones that I played with were actually the same technology as the gramophone. It was there was literally a spool in there, going along a track with a whatever. I'm making that up as I go along because I don't really understand what I'm trying to say, but you get the point. It was old technology. And so I just found that incredibly interesting. I had more than one. I had the farmer one for sure, but I cannot remember for the life of me what other one I had. I know I had two. I looked throughout all the photographs online. I couldn't find one that sparked my memory. I did not have the Snoopy one, which is kind of surprising to me. It may have been Sesame Street. Yeah, it might have been, but I just can't remember. But I loved this toy. And in looking at this toy, I saw another toy that I loved. And guess what? It was another Fisher-Price toy. This cash register. Do you remember this cash register? It worked the way an old-timey cash register worked. So you pushed the buttons and the numbers popped up and it would open up, and it was just very cute and very fun. But Fisher-Price molded me. Those Fisher-Price toys molded me as a child. And the remarkable thing is that they are enduring, and they still make many of these toys. They may be made a different way. You know, they're no longer using Edison's gramophone technology. For example, it's all digital and electronic, and you know, those advancements are fantastic, but the toy itself is the same. And I think that's great. Those wonderful educational toys. One of my viewers said that after she saw the clock segment I did on the grandfather's clock, that she ordered one for her grandchild. I love that. I think that's just amazing. So 3 more Fisher-Price toys out of Chris's toy chest today. And thank you, Marianne, for sending me that record player. It made me think of this toy that I wanted to spotlight today. And it's good to see you, Sal. I'm sure you'll be back more regularly. I hope so anyway. So, Chris's Toy Chest. Very quickly, I had one adorable piece of happy mail. It appropriately was a Valentine card with Snoopy on it and Woodstock, and I love it. So thank you so much, Sherry. I really do appreciate receiving this. You guys just make my day, and so very often, and this will, and I never throw cards away. I'm a bit of a card hoarder. I have boxes of them from all the way through my performing days and Christmas cards, and I do get rid of some Christmas cards, like the one from the insurance company. Throw that one away. But this will be with me for a very long time, so thank you so much for this. I do appreciate it. Let's move on to the giveaway winners from last week. I had 5 giveaways, and I have 5 names to announce to you today. So here they are, without further ado. The first of the giveaways was an adorable little Home Sweet Home kit. This comes with the hoop and the chart and everything you need. The winner of this is Roxanne Green. Roxanne, congratulations. Roxanne is a regular neighbor here at Xrossstitch, and I always love hearing from her. So Roxanne, congratulations. The next giveaway that we offered up were these 3 mini kits. These are tiny. They're really ornaments. I said that they would be great to teach someone cross-stitching on. And small projects. If you want some, if you want some instant gratification, these are perfect. The winner of these is, I'm going to try to say this last name the right way, Linda Ficciatola. Linda Ficciatola. Now, I said that with the Italian C. I hope that's right. Linda Ficciatola. I don't think it's Linda Ficciatola. Linda Ficciatola, 3 mini kits. Congratulations, you are the winner. The next is a beautiful Madeline Floyd chart of a bird. So many of you liked this. It was actually the second highest commented giveaway. The winner, June Williams. Congratulations, June. The next adorable little chart of 2 hugging teddy bears. These are kits, by the way. These are all kits. 2 hugging teddy bears, which I just adored. The winner of this one, Devi Sisk. Congratulations, Debbie. Devi is another frequent neighbor and commenter. All of you are, really, to be fair. And the last was the final Mill Hill cat kit that I have. These were generously donated by a neighbor, and I've given the first 2 out. This one is Petunia. Petunia is going to Susan Hernandez. Susan, congratulations. So if I called your name, please send me an email and with your address, and I will get those out to you very, very soon. Please do, if you can, send me an email rather than contacting me through Instagram, because I like to keep up with them that way. If you have to, that's fine, but I prefer you to send me an email. So congratulations to all of you, and I will get those out to you ASAP. This week's giveaways are all, once again, generously donated by you, my fellow neighbors. You send them to me, you destash them, and I recirculate them into the neighborhood, into our stitchy neighborhood. And these are adorable. One is winter, one is spring, because spring is coming, and one is, well, 2 of them are kind of springy. The first is adorable, wintry. Friends come in all shapes and spices. And it's a little snowman and a gingerbread man. This is a Sandman original chart. just adorable. So if you want to be considered for this giveaway, please use the word SPICE. SPICE, S-P-I-C-E. The next is moving into spring. This is a small. This is a cute small. You could probably stitch this in a weekend if you wanted to. This is Waxing Moon Designs Spring Chick. Oh, there's a glare. Waxing Moon Designs Spring Chick. And if you would like to be considered for this particular giveaway, please use the word spring. Spring. And the third giveaway today is a beautiful, this is really a pretty one. I almost kept this one. Anagram, it's an anagram diffusion chart, a design by Jean-Louis Grandsire. Le coup de vent. Le coup de vent, so much glare. Le coup de vent, the gust of wind. Gust of wind. Le coup de vent. And if you would like to be considered for this one, please use the word wind. W-I-N-D, wind. Le coup de vent. Sometimes I pick these just because I want to speak French. So use those words in your comments, and we will do the drawing for those in 1 week's time. And let me just be clear on that. And it's a good point to bring up, because sometimes you watch the videos later and several weeks have elapsed, and I see people and sometimes they type in the words and I feel so badly. My giveaways run for 1 week, so it starts today, and I will draw the names. I will use the YouTube random comment picker right before I film next Tuesday. So you have a full week to use those words in your comments, and from those I will pick the next winner. So please be over the please be 18 years of age or older so that I can ask you for your address. Please be a subscriber to this channel. I ask you to please like the video, and don't use any words such as giveaway or winner or prize or anything like that in your comment, so that people who are lurking for freebies won't find us that way. So 3 great giveaways. We will draw for them tomorrow, next week. I keep saying tomorrow. We will draw for them next week. If you've noticed the light changing, brightening or dimming or brightening and dimming, it's because the sun here is moving in and out from behind the clouds. California, Southern California right now is going through menopause. We had cool weather, 5 days of hot 80 to 90 degree weather, and today it's like it won't be above 60 where I live. So it's, yeah, we're having hot flash. We had a hot flash. So that's why the light is changing. Thank you for being with me today. I did have a little bit of a trying week, and I fluctuated about even filming today because I knew that my brain was a little bit scattered. I've tried to kind of focus during this video, and I hope that it came across that way. If not, apologies. But I'm glad I did, and I'm glad to spend the time with you this week, and I look forward to spending time with you next week as well. I'm going to have more stitching to show you, I promise. And I wish all of you a wonderful week ahead. I hope that you have a lot of stitching time. I hope that you have a peaceful week. And until next time, thank you so much and take care. Bye-bye.